I think people, when they use the term culturally responsive or culturally relevant pedagogy, forget that the base of the word is culture. So culture has to do with worldviews, beliefs, language. It has to do with values.
Culture, to me, at its essence, are the things that, those filters that help us as human beings make sense out of the most ordinary things. Culture can be grouped into two different kind of categories. You can talk about visible culture and invisible culture, or tangible and intangible. The tangible, I would translate that to say the crafts, the music, the art, the technology. And those are important, but I think the more important are the intangible. And these are values, beliefs, feelings, opinions, perspectives, assumptions.
So culturally relevant pedagogy, one of the primary premises is that teachers take students' everyday lived cultural experiences and make the appropriate linkages between what the students know and do and understand, and come up with examples, comparisons, and contrasts. They make the connections. They are cultural translators. They are cultural bridge builders. I think when we talk about culturally responsive pedagogy, we have to remember that students approach learning not as cultural blank slates. So they bring into the classroom all of those cultural experiences. And so it is very compatible with what we know about good teaching. Culturally responsive pedagogy builds on students' prior knowledge. And in this case, we're talking about prior cultural knowledge, making connections between what is known and what is to be taught and understood.
So part of the argument of culturally responsive teaching is the dilemma has been an incompatibility between the cultural filters that have been used to send instructional messages to students that's coming from the school frame of reference, and when kids from different ethnic backgrounds are trying to learn that, they are trying to receive what we send from school through another set of cultural filters. And if they don't match, then nothing's happening. So cultural responsive teaching then says is that rather than always insisting that the students adapt to the culture of the school needs to adapt and modify some of its sending messages, its sending mechanism.
When we think about what matters most about culture, I think the first thing to remember is that students are not mere representatives of a cultural or ethnic group. And first and foremost, they are individual students who have individual needs and interests, etc. Students who belong to an ethnic group, their attachment and bonds to the group vary, for example, in terms of how long they've been in this country, social class, and their own experiences in the community.
I was looking at your data, Mr. Dogood. Your scores are down. I am concerned.
I am too. We have reassessed on parts of speech 17 times. I don't know what else to do for them.
Have you differentiated your lessons? You need to differentiate your lessons.
It is a leveled class. I shouldn't have to differentiate. And, yes, I have differentiated my lessons.
It's a level class. You shouldn't need to differentiate.
That's what I just said.
Your test scores are down.
I know. The students don't care about parts of speech.
How do you know?
They told me. They said we don't care about parts of speech.
What did you say?
I said you have studied parts of speech every year since the 2nd grade. You were in the 8th grade. You should know them by now.
What did they say?
They said we don't care about parts of speech.
Have you differentiated your lessons?
Yes. I have. I told you I have.
Is your lesson fun? It needs to be fun.
Parts of speech are not fun. But, yes. My lessons are fun.
How do you know?
The students told me. They said this is fun.
Tell me about your lessons. They need to be fun.
First, I sang a song about parts of speech and the students took notes. It was fun.
What was your next lesson?
I made up a dance to go with the song and taught it to the students. It was fun.
What was your next lesson?
After we sang the song and did the dance, we finger painted a mural using different colors and flavors of pudding. All about the parts of speech. It was fun.
What was your next lesson?
I hired a pony for each part of speech and gave the children rides while we sang the song and did the dance. Then we ate more pudding. It was fun.
You did not get approval to spend money on ponies. How did you pay for them?
I paid with my own money.
You cannot afford that. We are in our 5th year of salary freeze. How did you pay for the ponies?
I sold one of my kidneys.
What was your next lesson?
I attached myself to a spinning wheel and let the students throw knives at me while they were on the ponies singing and dancing. We also had more pudding.
How do you know if it was fun?
They told me. They said this is fun.
Your test scores are down.
I know. You are concerned.
Have you differentiated your lessons?
Yes. I have differentiated my fun lessons.
I've been looking at your data.
I hate my life. Good morning, Karen.
Hi, Pat. How are you today?
Not good at all. I have such a diverse group of learners, and many of my students have individualized education plans and special needs. I don't know how to teach so that everyone is learning.
Well, that does sound challenging. Have you tried using differentiated instruction?
No, what is that?
Differentiated instruction is a way to go about teaching material, assessing students' progress, and motivating each child to learn. How do you teach all the diverse learners in your class now?
Well, they all have such different learning styles and they are all on such different levels. So, I plan an individualized lesson for each and every one of them based on what they can do.
Doesn't that get exhausting? Differentiated instruction is much more than individualized instruction. You definitely should make adaptations and accommodations to your lesson plan, keeping each learner in mind, but making 22 separate lesson plans isn't efficient.
You're right. It is exhausting. Maybe I should just group all the kids by ability and then teach each group one at a time to make it easier on myself.
No, that isn't good practice either. Differentiated instruction is more than homogeneous groupings. In fact, it is effective to make groups of mixed ability, so that the advanced students and the struggling students can learn from each other and help each other in the zone of proximal development.
That does sound smart. And once they're in their mixed ability groupings, and I can help the struggling kids feel smart by asking them easy questions, and make the advanced kids feel challenged by asking them hard questions.
Differentiated instruction is much more than a hierarchy of simple to complex questions. With differentiated instruction, every child will be able to answer any question you ask with the right support.
Wow, looks like I have a lot to learn about differentiated instruction.
Well, start by taking a look around this website. You will find some valuable information about universal design for learning, collaboration with teachers and families, strategies for both advanced and struggling learners, and links to a ton of great resources. Then, come into my classroom and I can show you differentiated instruction and practice.
Thanks, Karen.
What are you talking about?
I found out that my great-granddaddy used to own slaves. And I don't know how any black person can justify the enslavement of other black people. The enslavement of other black people.
Well, I've heard of black men who was rich enough to buy back their own wives and children, but that's your ancestors, not you. I'm sick of all this talk about this color and that color and who did what to who when. Now just look at the people in this room. It's a rainbow of colors, and the entire rainbow is pretty. Now just look.
We wear the mask that grins and lies, that hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile, with torn and bleeding hearts we smile.
Oh, I wish I were in the land of cotton, old time there and I've forgotten. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. Oh, I wish I were in Dixie, away, away. In Dixieland I take my stand to live and die in Dixie. Someone in the kitchen with Diana, someone in the kitchen I know. Yowza, 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 I don't know nothing about birth and no babies. Oh, baby, yowza, yowza, yowza. I was born in the Congo. I walked the Fertile Crescent and built the Sphinx. I designed a pyramid so tough that a star that glows every 100 years falls center, giving divine, perfect light. I am that. I'm that. So swift, so swift. Ah, you can't catch me. For a birthday present, for 3 years, I gave my son Hannibal an elephant, and he gave me Rome for Mother's Day. My son Noah built a new ark, and I turned myself into myself and was Jesus. I am so hip, even my errors are correct. I mean, I can fly like a bird in the sky. Nikki Giovanni's poem, Mr. Gaines, and you. Yeah, that was wonderful, my sister. Thank you, my sister.